I've been working on a BBC for some days, and then I decided I was tired of talking about death. And so this morning, I asked for a topic at the stand up meeting, and someone suggested one. So we're going to go with it. It's what does it mean to be a team lead? What does it mean to be a team lead? And what does it mean to be a team lead at Sravasti Abbey was the unspoken part. So for our guests who are just arriving, you too will be on a team. So I think it's also relevant to you, but it is especially relevant to the community. So what does it mean to be a team lead? So when I heard that question, I thought, what's the question? The team lead leads the team in accomplishing a task. What's the problem? The lunch dish team leads a team of washing dishes. Now, then I thought about, okay, so there are some assumptions. The assumptions might be that you're going to finish that task, for one thing. The assumption might be that you are going to complete the task within the guidelines that have been set up by the kitchen team. Oh, you're going to meet the guidelines also set up by the Pend Oreille County Department of Health that have been issued to the kitchen team. We're going to follow the guidelines that have been established by the Washington State Department of Health, given to the Pend Oreille County Tri-County Health District, given to the kitchen team who was washing dishes for Sravasti Abbey. So there's a hierarchy there. So for sure there are some assumptions. It's not like you just get the job and you lead your team in some unknown thing in any way that you want to do because you're the supreme leader of the dish team and you will do it your way today and they have to do what you want them to do. It's not that. And I don't think we see that for sure on the dish team because everybody's well trained into how long to leave those dishes in that bleach water. Because that bleach water, I want to say, as I say often in there, is the only space between you and me and the virus you're carrying. So please leave your dish in that bleach water for at least a minute. But the confusion, I think, becomes more like not what does it mean to be a team lead, but what does it mean to be a team player? Which is again a topic that we've covered many times. In fact, when I went back to look, and I was like, I've talked about this before. Venerable Children has talked about this before, but not so specifically. But I was able to pull this talk together really quickly because we've said these things many times before, and I could just pull out some quotes. The team lead is certainly not a defined and definitive role. And you may be the team lead of the dishes, and then in the very next moment, you're going to go outside and be a follower on the lead that is digging up the garden. So there's no one who is even the absolute team leader, not even our venerable abbess, who certainly has more say in the end, but even so, it's all a part of that team network. And as we have been reminded a few times, but maybe not lately, Aryadeva, in his 400 verses in the fourth chapter, very clearly states that there is no leader without followers. There are no followers without the leader. They are completely interdependent roles. And so where we fall within that guideline of I'm a follower or I'm a leader, that's really, I think, where the problem becomes, if there are issues and problems. If I'm the leader, am I the absolute ruler of this team? If I'm the follower, do I have to do what they say even though I think they're stupid? I mean, we go back and forth with those kinds of questions in our group dynamics about who's a leader and who's a follower. And so there's some advice here that we've gotten from Venerable Children. I also want to go back to a letter that we received from Venerable Jendi some time ago that I quoted extensively on a BBC a few years ago, but it just has great nuggets for how to work together as a team. So first of all, and Venerable talks about this often, that we need to, here at the monastery, we need to learn to be good leaders. And we also need to learn to be good followers. And we need to know what the difference is. And that following is a part of our flexibility too, is to be able to give the leader in any given team, theoretically, the leader is the person with the most knowledge. I mean, we definitely see that in the level of giving the big departments. You know, you're not ever in a million years going to make me the lead of the water team. I mean, we'll just, I don't know what, ship it in bottles, I guess. But, right, you want someone who has the skill, who has the knowledge to be leading that team. And because here at the Abbey, we don't become ordained based on our professional qualifications. So we may often be given leadership roles in teams that we really don't know anything about. That happens. We may have team members who have no training whatsoever in the team that they have been assigned to, and that also happens. And yet we have to work together to find some way to make this work, and it is because we're working as a team. So the key to this, the real key to this, that Venerable Jindy stated in this letter that she wrote to us about how to work together as a community. She says, in a spiritual community, we put spiritual practice at the center of our life, regardless of whether we are leaders or followers. And in Nagarjuna's Precious Garland, I wanted to go there because he talks about leadership a lot. He says the same thing. He says, Dharma is the highest policy. Dharma pleases the world, and if the world is pleased, you will not be deceived here or hereafter, he's saying to the king. Now, we don't have any kings here, but we can take that. So by acting according to the Dharma, this is according to Geshe Jampatech's commentary, leaders are honest, fair, and impartially care for the welfare of everyone concerned. So if we're looking at the task where we are honest as the leader, we're fair as the leader, we're impartially caring for the welfare of everyone concerned, not just the members of our team here, but also the larger result of the task that we've been assigned to do. Then, for example, with the dishes, we are the big picture, we're caring for the health and safety and sanity of the entire monastery. And for the team right here, we're honest, we're fair, and we're impartial for everyone that's here. So then we can look around and say, well, okay, who has the capacity for this today? Who didn't show up because why? Because they were waiting in line with a card, desperately trying to see our teacher. They were late for the lunch dishes. Okay, they have a need. They have a need. There's an impartiality and a fairness involved in just allowing that person to be gone without scolding when they show up late, that the whole team can hold the space for that job to be completed. But the team lead knows that the job still needs to be done. That's who's keeping an eye on the big picture. And the followers, if they're following well, also share that responsibility to complete the task. By engaging our body, speech, and mind in virtuous actions, we will not have enemies in this life or fall to an unfortunate rebirth in the next. Now, how many times do we make enemies when we are frustrated as the team lead that our team is not doing it right? How many people have created negative karma as a result of? Yeah, me too. And you know, it's fortunate that we do purification all the time. Venerable Jindy's letter. Someone wrote her a question about. I think the question was something like, "People see me as mediocre in my leadership role. How do I deal with this?" Her answer, Venerable Jindy, is a long-time nun in the Chinese tradition. She was a very key supporter of the Abbey, who helped Venerable Children, supported her, or helped ordain most of the first group of monastics here. Very wise, and very humble nun. So her letter said, if we happen to be in the managerial position, our team members may be reluctant to cooperate because they think themselves better or wiser. Anyone had that experience as a team lead? Because of that, they have difficulties humbling themselves. So she said, I'm going to give you two perspectives. If I am the team member working with a mediocre leader, I should contemplate my purpose of being here. This is for all of us. What is my purpose in being here? If I am here to engage in spiritual practice, my work is to help and support the leader, however mediocre they may be. Although my ideas seem to be better, I am not here to compete. If I fight with a leader, much of the energy from both sides is exhausted in the fight, and the people I intend to serve do not receive the needed service. Like, that's very clear. If we come in as the follower of that team lead with our own ideas and our own agenda, and they're not doing it right, what are we actually contributing to the team? We're not helping that leader at all. On the other hand, so if we watch our motivation, then if my motivation is to be a benefit, which is what I promised when I woke up this morning, if my motivation is to be a benefit, what's the real benefit here? I can give my idea. I can give a different perspective. And, hopefully it will be heard. It may not be. But she said, Venerable Jinde suggests, I will cooperate with him or her, just like I want from others if I happen to be in that leadership role. As a team member, I may express my thinking to the leader, but I also respect their decision. Even if my way is better. This is hard, folks. Even if my way is better, I will follow their decision because they are always multiple. There are multiple ways of doing things. There are many ways of doing things, and they're the designated leader. I will follow that. Besides, she says, learning a new way, however primitive it may seem to me, will not kill me. In fact, it helps expand my world and not shrink it. So that's the mind of the follower, supporting the leader. We are all in the roles of followers, and we all need to be in the roles of leaders. On the other hand, if I'm the mediocre leader, everybody here been a mediocre leader, trying to lead a smart fellow practitioner, I will not let myself be too discouraged just because my team member looks down on me, complains about me, or does not cooperate with me. Shall I say that again? I will not let myself be too discouraged just because my team member looks down upon me, complains about me, or does not cooperate with me. How do we deal with that? She says, I'll be the first person to admit that I'm not perfect. I will learn to be humorous when facing difficult persons or situations, like laugh at it, hold it lightly. I will try to learn the points that my teammates are trying to convey in their complaints. And if they are right, I don't have to be upset. My focus should be to improve myself. If upon examination they are not right, leave it. We don't write a letter to the harmonizers telling people that so-and-so and so-and-so said this to me about this and this and this. Just let it go. Let it go. Being upset, she said, just adds another list to the items of my thoughts. The fact that since I play the role of leader, I have to see the bigger picture and treat both friends and foes fairly without bias. That, I would say, is the job of the team lead. Check my motivation, make sure that I'm here to serve, and then train myself to see a bigger picture and treat both my friends and foes fairly without bias, just like Nagarjuna's told us to. Then she ends with a quote that I think is a universal community antidote to how to work together as a team. The fact that this person wants to practice the holy path is something remarkable. My admiration and respect for him or her should remain the same, even if they do not like me. Even if they do not like me. So, to be the team lead, yeah, we do the job, we complete the task, we are not an absolute ruler. Depending on what kind of team we're in, we have different people above us, if you will, guiding, telling us what the goal might be. So if I go out this afternoon and I'm going to go in fact, I really want to sometime weed the garden in front of the Buddha. I don't just go out there and start pulling weeds. Or maybe I do, but I need to check with Venerable Simke, what's your plan? Because I am not the absolute ruler of that garden. She's not either. But if we have a leader-follower relationship, then we each respect each other's views, responsibilities, and we get the task done, right? So there's one more thing that kept coming to mind that I just want to bring up. It maybe feel like it's out of whack, but when we get teachings on the 3 types of bodhicitta, we learn about the 3 kinds of leaders. Because what are we doing? We're training to lead people to enlightenment. Learning to lead actually is a part of our developmental process to become Buddha. And this 3 types of leadership styles in terms of leading people to liberation and enlightenment came to mind. I couldn't find the scriptural source. Panchen Losho Rinpoche is the earliest one I could find, so I'd love to know if we know where it comes from. But there is the king-like leader, there is the captain-like leader, and the shepherd-like leader. So the king-like leader is the one that says, I will attain Buddhahood first, and all living beings will follow me. I will lead them. The boatman-like or captain-like or cat person, oarsman. Well, okay. Oarsman, captain is the one that says we will all go through this together. Yeah. So we're all in the same boat. We're all working on this together, and we're all going to go to awakening together. And then the shepherd-like leader is the one that says, I will care for all of them, open the gate, and let them all get through. And I will be the last one in because I want to care for them. So, of course, in the actual path to awakening, it doesn't work that way. You have to become a Buddha first in order to effectively lead all beings. But they say that this demonstrates different kinds of mental strength. Like the king that's going to go first has not exactly as strong a mind as the one who wants to bring us all together. And the one who wants to wait and get everybody going first may have the strongest mind. But all 3 of them are ways of leading disciples or ways of leading people forward. So we have to look at your leadership style. Are you in the forest the person who's like wanting to be the king-like? Are you the captain-like? Or are you the shepherd-like? Just think about that as an analogy for how we lead our various teams. Personally, I think it's useful. But the main thing is that we do it with a Dharma motivation. We do it with the Dharma mind. And if we're working together as followers and leaders, the task gets done. In theater exercises, sometimes we have this game where you're following people. I don't know, maybe you've done it in other situations too, where you have the mirror. And if one person is leading this movement and you try to follow, and then the person says change, and then the next person takes over, and you become the follower. And you do this movement, whatever they're doing, you follow their dance movement and so forth. They change, and then you go back to being the leader again, and then you're the follower again. There should come a point where no one knows who's leading. That's kind of the perfect model of leader-follow. Does it happen often? Probably not. But in terms of team leads, I hope that's helpful.